Hey guys, it's your Maker Mentor AndyMakes here. If you don't know me, I support teachers to confidently use new technologies so that they can provide learning that's engaging, exploratory, and relevant for their students. So I want to help you not get lost in the technology. I want to help you to simplify your approach to technology in your classroom, and I want to help you get more confident using it. Awesome. So today's episode is about prototyping, and we will be I want to show you ways that you can do it without worrying or stressing about the technology using a tool that you're very familiar with. So let's get stuck into it. So we want to teach you how to prototype an app with students, and we're going to try and make it as simple as possible. So whether it's making, tinkering, or engineering, the goal is to help students make their learning tangible. It's to help them grow a bias towards action. And so what I mean by that is quite often we can get caught up in ideas, we can fall in love with them, we can, want to be really precious about how we approach them. And quite often that's how we operate as adults, and it's no wonder that that's how students operate. So we want to flip that switch for them. And so the way I want to flip it, or the way I like to try and flip it, is I know I've done it when I can move a student from saying I don't know to how can I find out. And we can help them do that by showing them how to build the ideas that they have, how to test it, how to experiment with them, how to ask questions, how to see failure as part of success. Anyone that's been successful has failed, and it's because of those failures that they've been able to learn what works and then also be able to measure it. And so the cheapest way to do this, believe it or not, is to use your school's software presentation software. So if you're a Google, apps for education school, you can use Google Slides. If you're an Apple school, you can use Keynote. Or if you're a Microsoft school, Office 365 school, you can use PowerPoint. And I'll show you how powerful these tools are. And so some of the steps that I like to think about when approaching students with this type of work is that we need to create a storyboard of the solution. And so what that looks like, and we all know what storyboards look like, 3 movements. Okay, I like to think of it in terms of 3 movements. The first initial movement is about understanding the problem, but also because we're thinking about an app, we're thinking about how someone who's going to be using the app will experience it for the first time. So they can sketch in there. How are they going to experience that idea for the first time? And part number 2 is about the meat. It's about how the app's actually going to work and how it's going to solve that problem. So then we're going to describe that in there. And then the last part is going to be what we'll call your viral component. So how will they be encouraged to share? How will they be encouraged to tell others about it? How will they... the other side to look at it is how does the app deliver on the promise of solving that problem? And then what we want to start doing once we've sketched those apps out, so you can use storyboard. I've also used Post-it notes and shown students how to do it using Post-its, is that we want to start thinking about screens for each part of the app. And so the cool thing about using a slide software is that you can find a PNG of anything. Let me just check something. Oh, I can't. Yeah, that's better. You can find a PNG of anything, even phone outline. So this is an app idea that I had a few years ago now, and we'll walk through it. So it was called How Was Your Run? So I was learning to run, and I was trying to get support from friends. I had friends who were supporting me, and when I started thinking about why their support was so good, is that they asked me about how it was, not telling me whether or not I did it. So that's where How Was Your Run came from. And after each run, the app prompts you to input how your run went. And if I click on this one, you'll see when that gets clicked on, it moves to slide 3. So another concept here is that this is called the Wizard of Oz effect, in that this is a slide, but when I interact with it, it acts like an app. And I'm sure we all know the Wizard of Oz story, is that there was this illusion that he was this great wizard, but as soon as they were able to peer behind the curtains, they realized how normal and average it was. And that's what slide tools do essentially for prototyping. They take this very complicated, very magical thing that we see on our phones, and make them super simple. And that's what I'm showing you here right now. Another part that I like about my app idea was that you can add an encourager, or an accountability buddy, and then you can co-construct a goal. So for example, I might say, I want to run 5Ks this week. My friend says, oh, but from what you told me last time, you can run 2Ks at a time. Like, that's where your ability's up to. So 5Ks would be what, 2 runs? What about making it 3 runs a week? That sounds like a stretch goal. And so, there'll be a little bit of back and forth. And there might even be an opportunity where you can track your goals and your accomplishments. So that's a real simple example of how you can use your app software, your slide software, to create a realistic looking app. And where the bias to action comes from is that when students are encouraged to make something first in a very simple way, so it could be through the storyboard, it could be using Postits, it could be using slide software as the second step to it. They're encouraged to get their ideas out there. And when they get their ideas out there, that's where they receive feedback. And it's the feedback that's going to help them to be successful. And then we repeat. So I like to call this that little process the make loop, in that we don't really know until we do. And so I want to encourage you to have a go at prototyping apps with your students. Get them to make something, get them to learn something, and just repeat the process over and over again. Lastly, I want to know, so if you're already doing prototyping with your students, what's your go-to prototyping tool with them? And it can be about apps, it can be about anything, and I'd love to know in the comments. If there are other things that you're unsure about or want to know how to progress to the next step, let me know that too. But until next time, I'll see you later. Peace.